Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. We already have people in the chat. My gosh, we have Antoine and Mafu. I'm so happy to see both of you. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. What's up? Well, we have glorious, fabulous weather here. It's 16 degrees and sunny. So I was just outside for a long walk with Mojo. We're getting some exercise, getting the blood flowing, so feeling pretty good. Ready to do some magical art with you guys. Busy on Tekken. Excellent. Much love. Love it. Love it, love it. I'm so glad we're good. Okay. The weather's so lucky. Yes, we're lucky. It's supposed to it's spring here, so it's wild cards. So we have some chaos. It's nice, and then we're supposed to get lots of rain in a couple days, and then there's going to be a little bit of snow, and then it's going to come back to be warm. So we're in that unpredictable, you're always wearing the wrong kind of clothes type weather. Okay, so what we're going to do, I promised something different this week, so we're going to do something different. Mafu says, speaking of which, you've seen my Devil Jin sketch in the midnight, right? You had it on your stories, right? I think I did. And I think I saw you sent me a message earlier, but my Discord on my computer is not playing the game. So I'm not ignoring you. I just have to answer later. Yes, it looks great. I was so happy to see that you have been doing some sketching. That's amazing. Okay, so I did promise something different. So, because we've been doing lots of tarot content, and I do have a couple cards here you can see on my Photoshop. I do have a couple on the go that I'm ready to go, but I thought I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And so we have this as a fallback in case my switching it up doesn't work, but we'll see. I thought it was my fault for being addicted. Hey, it's good to have a passion. So we have some tarot cards to fall back on should this not go well, but I think this will be kind of a fun, different project. It's related to Mr. Mojo because it's Mojo's birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 5. Mafu's trying to get back into her art again. I love that. That's so great. Okay, so this is a fun project. I cannot take credit for the idea of this art. I saw it on a reel and immediately thought I need to get a scanner that works with my new computer and do this with Mojo. And so it took some time. I had to reinstall my scanner and all this kind of chaos because it's been a while since I used it. And we played the game, and he played the game really well. So that was really good. So rather than just rambling, let's just get to it here. So we're in Photoshop, and let's just kind of make this screen a little bit bigger so it's a little less, you guys watching, hang on. Uh-oh. Happy tomorrow birthday, Mojo, Muffrey says. Back to the chat. Okay, so what we're going to do here is a new file, and I'm going to, I want it an 18 by 24 because this is going to be a big piece that I want in my new renovated apartment. I think we'll do, we'll see how 300 dpi goes. So the 300 resolution, that's just how much detail there is. The higher you go, the larger the file. 300 is generally pretty good for printing and stuff, which is what we're going to do with this guy. So I'm just going to create that, and that just created a artboard. Yeah, Mafu says 300 shouldn't be too bad. Generally, if I'm printing, depending on the size, this is an 18 by 24, so that's 1.5 by 2 feet. So you want to have some good detail because if people are going to get close, you want to make sure that it holds up its thing. I'm thinking of putting it on a canvas as well when I'm done. So the pixelation, like the canvas groove will kind of help with that a little bit. Mafu says, I heard 700 is the max. Yeah, I think it depends on the printer. And I also think like much above 700, like you're really not going to really want that on a print. Like that's almost too much information. The only time I'd want to scan something that high with a high resolution is if like I want to eventually like use it at very wide range of sizes. So if you scan something at 150 DPI, there's only so far you can expand it before it starts getting pixelated and not working very well. But for printing, you don't really want to go too high, and especially for this size, I think 300 is probably going to be good. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to place our photo, and I'm going to place embedded. So the difference here, for those of you who were in Photoshop, I can't remember if I said that or not. For linked, if I was to place a linked file, that would mean that it's looking at a different file in a different location. So if that's a piece that I'm going to edit or change in any way, so for the tarot cards, for example, if I had like the border as a file on the page and I had it linked out to a different file and I changed that file, it would update in all the files that it's linked to. So really great for branding opportunities, for anything where, like the tarot cards, where there's a consistent graphic being used like across the board or a consistent style. So that rather than going in and editing all 78 cards in a scenario, I could just edit them from a linked page. And I tried to do that early in the tarot cards. It didn't quite work just of the way I set it up, but that's a me thing, not a file thing. But in this case, I'm not going to be editing the original. I'm going to be moving the original around actually, because it's currently in my downloads folder. So what I'm just going to do, instead of worrying about breaking links and all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to do embedded, which means it's just going to put that file in there. And if I edit or move the original, it won't do anything to this file. So in this case, that doesn't matter to me. But if you do have something that you're going to update later or anything, consider the linked file, but remember where your files are, because if you move them around, that breaks links and it can be a whole thing. So Mafu says there's a set range of DPI, each for their own applications like RGB and CMYK, right? Yeah, so if you're printing something with your printer, I would strongly recommend talking with them about what their requirements are and things like that. I'm not certain that your resolution is going to really impact too much whether you use CMYK or RGB, but you want to make sure those are color balances and palettes, and I'm going to really screw it up because I keep forgetting which one is which. A lot of printers are going to use CMYK. It's just the combination of inks that they use. So if we actually, one sec, if we go into colors here, and we pick a color, if I do, where's my color balance here? Here we go, sliders. So RGB sliders, that's mixing the red, green, blue. And so you'll get these kinds of numbers and things like that over on the right. You'll get those kinds of numbers. Oh, you are not getting them on the right. Hang on. Hang on. There we go. So sorry. So there's our colors. So you get them over here on the right. So these are kind of different color palettes. So these are ways to ensure that if like you're doing branding or anything else, that you're using the same color each time. You're going to use these colors. And I use CMYK quite a bit. It really depends on what your output is, but it's the same thing, but it's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And it's the 4 different percentages of each one. And that will give you your color palette. And sometimes it'll give you a color number as well, which is even better, because then you can be like, I want, let me see. Usually gives you a number, which is super weird. This guy here. So there'll be a number in the bottom corner here. If you give that number, it's even better because you've got your RGB combination here, your CMYK combination here. But if you give this number and say the red for Hues and Tones is a specific red and it has a specific number. So when I'm doing anything in printing, I use that same red every time for branding consistency. So this is a whole big how to set up for your printer live stream that I could do at some point. We won't do it right now, but this, like, if I'm going to be getting into like levels and CMYK and all that other kind of stuff, this is what I mean. It's really just kind of like an output of your colors and what you're going to be using, and all these different little combinations. HSB, RGB, CMYK, LAB, those are all different like applications and different things and different combinations to get that blue. But really, it's just kind of how, like, depending on your output and what you're using, one combination will give you what you need to do or what you can give to your printer, etc. So we're going to go back here and I'm going to place embedded. Now let's see if I can actually find. I don't think it's actually in my downloads. I think it's in my photos. It is not. Uh-oh. Nope. I think my phone's gonna die here. Fine then. Where is it? Pictures. Oh, that's why. I wasn't in the right place. The other pictures. Come on. Oh no, my mouse is gonna die on me here. Let's try again. Okay, where's my window? I lost it. Come on, you. Okay, where's the place window? Where'd she go? File. There we go. I think I closed it. Oh, no, hang on. We've got something selected and I don't want to do that. Okay, file. Let's try again. Place embedded. And we will go to Aaron and we will go to pictures and then we will go to 6. Yes, queen. Bobby says, don't die, computer mouse. Your user depends on you. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I don't actually know what resolution I scanned this at, so we're going to see if it's going to work. Oh no, don't do that. Just be normal. There we go. So what we have here, a little image of Aaron and Mojo. Oh, see, that holds up pretty well, actually. That's pretty good. Okay, excellent. Yeah. Shift, hold shift and option so that it goes from the middle. Oh no. How come it's being that way? Just option then? There we go. Photoshop is weird. You don't always have to hold the shift key to maintain your orientation. And then all I'm going to do here is hit enter. That's going to place that on my board. So now you can see that there's an image layer here. In the bottom right, I know it's the image layer. I'm going to be bad and not name it. These are my hands and Mojo's feet. Yes. So I thiefed this idea. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. This actually came out way clearer than I thought it would. Oh, I don't really like, no. Is that like an auto? That would be nice. Okay, never mind. Watch a quick video. So Photoshop has all these like generate options things and like different AI tools that can really help. I'm not going to use too many of them right now, unless I feel like it's going to help me out. But first, one of the first things I'm going to do is I want this to be in black and white. And it's going to help some of that like smudgy blurriness to come together. So actually, I think I'm going to do because these beads on the bracelet are really bright. So what they're going to do is when I do my levels in a second, they're going to throw off my groove. So let me just see if there's a way. Nope. I'm relearning Photoshop here with you all. I'm going to rasterize this layer is what I'm going to do. This allows me to paint on that layer. This allows me to erase on this layer. But all I really want to do is use an eyedropper, and I'm going to grab just a gray. Is that doing what I want it to do? It is doing what I want it to do. Okay. And shortcut B is our brush. And I only want like 30% opacity here. I got a soft brush, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of the brightness out of this. Actually, what I want to do is I want that to be a multiply, I think. All I want to do, because I want the bracelet, I don't mind if the bracelet's in there, but I'm just going to take the brightness out, and I'm going to show you in a second why that is. What is this? Get out of here. Yes. Okay, so that was just creating that thing I just deleted was creating a layer, kind of like when I do the hue saturation layer in Fresco. But we didn't use it, so I didn't want that layer to be in there causing a ruckus. Okay, so what I'm going to first do is I'm going to actually duplicate this so that we can use it later. New layer. So I'm going to put the copy down here just so we can see the changes we make here. Okay, bro. Down here. Hide this. Okay. Now, it says take your time. I had to relearn something to myself. This keeps us fresh, you know. Image. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. I don't think I need to do that. Image. Come on. Aha, here we go. Filter. There's going to be a... Where the heck's the desaturate? No, do this. Boop, boop, boo. This is where one Googles. I don't want to just do it though. Because then that doesn't teach anybody anything. Ah, it's an upscale. Adjustments. Ah, here we go. Desaturate. Okay, I wanted to show you where it was. I'm a shortcuts person, so I like to click away and do all the craziness, and then I forget what I'm actually doing and what the tool is. I want to show you where it was. So under Image, Adjustments, Desaturate, or Command-Shift-U on a Mac, what that's going to do, that took all the color out. So if I turn this guy back on, you can see the color's back there. And now this is all in black and white, which is what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to open my levels window. Image adjust levels, or Command L. Oops. Come on, you. Show me the whole picture. So what levels does is this is working with all of your lights and darks right now. If I had the color on here still, it would be, there'd be a lot more happening. So I generally just kind of do this with like lights and darks, and you can, there's a whole, again, another science to this. I don't work with a lot of photos, so it's a little bit less my strength. But what this is going to do, so we have over on the left of this little window, we have like the dark shadows, and then you have your middle tones, the little arrow, and then this is your highlights. So as you move these things, it's going to cut out how many values you take. Alessandra's in the chat. Welcome to the stream. So see, like that pulled it, that made it a lot lighter, because like our lights now, like our what we're doing is reducing the range of values, really. So we're reducing how much value we have on each piece. So it's making the brights brighter, the darks darker, and then your middle grounds. See, this makes it really bright. This makes it really dark. And then you can also bring in your shadows. So there's less, you can make them even darker. So I'm going to cancel this because we've made a huge ginormous mess. And I'm going to do it again. So I find it's a little dark. Lighten it up just a touch. Not a lot. And I'm just going to kind of keep some of those. That's just all our middle grounds. And you do, like, you can lose some details as you go. Like, see all the whites, they start to blur if I go too far. Usually I'll go all the way up to like see where there's like a, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. Around here there's kind of like a flat leveling out. It just means like there's a lot of whites that aren't doing a lot there. So I'm going to pull them up just a little bit so we can get all those details in there. There's lots of darks, but I don't want to make them too dark. So I think that's a start. Okay, so what we're going to do here. Okay, what are you doing? Knock it off. Okay, bro, what are we doing? There we go. Now this is a very large file, so we'll see how long we can push this for. Yes, so Alessandra's asking if this is a pic of me holding Mojo's paws. Yes, so we got to hang out with the scanner today, and he was a superstar. I fully anticipated, to be honest, that we were going to potentially damage my scanner having a freak out. He stood there so nicely. It's mostly my hands that were a problem. But no, I can't take credit for this idea, but I thieved it from a person on a reel. And I was like, I must do this for me and Mojo. Okay, bro. So what I'm doing right now is doing some clone work. All I'm doing is, so I have the clone tool, and what that's doing when I click option and that kind of is holding, that little kind of bullseye is there, it's going to take a picture, and then you can kind of see as my hand moves over, that's the art that's on there. So what that's doing, you can see that little plus sign, it's drawing all that stuff in there. Just cloning it over. I don't really love that, to be honest. Good Mojo. It's the school, the day school helped him behave, for sure. He's doing such a good job. And it's also, you missed, it's his birthday tomorrow. So that's why we're doing Mojo art today. Okay. Now, I'm wondering if I can. Let's see if we can. Oh, my lasso default is not a lasso. So let's see if we can put some of my generative credits to work here. Okay. Remove dust from image. Generating. So see if I undo, see a couple dustings there, and if I redo it, it kind of just muddied the waters there and got rid of some of those dusty guys that I didn't want in there. Alessandra says happy birthday, Mojo. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the clone here because I think that a lot of this is... Oh, not you, silly. Or, you know what? Instead of the clone, let's just use the brush tool. Let's not multiply. My stream is lagging. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it do that? Let's see. Me and the tech are not friends today. So let me see. Oh, for Pete's sake. We're just loading YouTube to see what we're looking at here. Come on, you. Okay. Oh, for Pete's sake. They've changed how all the stuff works now. Okay, actually, maybe what I gotta do here is... Can't change that. Super. Holy. Okay. I changed this. Hang on. I'm probably using too large of a file here. You let me know if there's anything improving there. Why? Oh, it's only 30%. Come on, Erin. Get it together, woman. Normal brush. Raster graphic. Why won't it paint over it? Oh, what the heck? Oh, I know what happened. Hang on. So it gave me 3 options, different ways to remove the dust. It's kind of really hard to see in this case because there's not really hopefully things are a little better now. Okay, so now that that's done, can we just... This one, please. There we go. Okay. I'm going to save this. I think it's actually my screen. Alrighty. So what's everybody up to? Tell me the tea. Well, I remember how to use Photoshop here. Yes, there we go. Finish cleaning and ate dinner. How responsible. Excellent. What do we have? I had breakfast. It's my favorite thing to have for all the meals. I always want breakfast. Mafu, how are things where you are? I'm always checking for updates. I'm glad to see that you are safe. So all I'm doing right now is taking out some of the dusty things. Nothing much for Antoine. That's okay. Sometimes it's good to not have too much going on. Especially these days. No news. Okay, that's enough, you. Oh, enough. Keep switching. It's so silly. Okay, let's do a clone tool because this is being silliness. So the clone tool I enjoy, so it just kind of gives you some, I like to use it for repairs because it's using content from the existing piece, meaning it's using like the same colors and the same files and stuff. So you're not kind of coming up with new things. Alessandra says, gonna work on my bookmarks I started for the streams this weekend. Excellent. I saw you were streaming. I saw your story. That is so much fun. That is going to be so good. I saw your bookmarks and I was like, oh God, I gotta get back to my bookmarks. We can work on them together. Yeah, so there's ups and downs to the clone tool. Like I think it's really great. Like I used it a lot. I did like a photo edit for some family members with like trees and things like that. It's really great for that kind of thing because it's like, look, you could, with like, it's easier to hide something like that. This would be hard to use on like an individual's face. Like if you were kind of like, if there was kind of some discoloration on a face or something like that, that would be a really good way to kind of just cover up any blemishes or any like scratches or anything, because then you're using the content sorry, because then you're using like the content right from that person's face. You're not trying to match skin color or anything, but if you were doing a kind of large flat surface, it's a hard one. But really what it's doing is it's taking kind of a photo or a memory of the spot where I'm holding Option and clicking, and then it's just kind of painting that content over. So that's why there's a kind of this weird brush scenario, because it's remembering where I clicked last time. At some point it'll run out of artboard and we won't know what to do, but this gives you something that's similar content. That way you can cover things up without having to like recreate texture or anything. Alessandra says, I don't know if I'll be working on that when me and this artist, Aaron, next week, we can work on bookmarks together. That would be delightful. I would actually feel really good about that because then I would have some bookmarks ready for later in the year. Okay. Hee hee. Mojo belly, mojo belly. We're gonna click save. Where is mojo? Okie dokie. Can we? That's not even close to a thing at all that I wanted. I put autocorrect this photo, thinking that it would kind of like do an no, we won't. Bad. We're gonna delete that. Cancel. Never mind. Shoo. We're not gonna do that because there's a lot of things like if you put a photo into like Lightroom, you can like auto fix it. Actually, let's see what I can do there. Let's save this first and let's see if I can do anything with Lightroom in here. We're going to a different software for a sec. So like what I'm trying to do here is like this photo retouching and all this kind of stuff. That's not a strength of mine. I just kind of really want to make sure that this looks like a really nice piece of art. I really want to hang it in my new bedroom that I have painted and okay, shoot. Can I add a photo? Oh, I don't like that. That's showing. Can we buzz off, please? Add a photo. Is number 6. Okay, just load the thing, bro. This is probably because it's a PDF. I won't do it. So let's load this. So sorry, what I was trying to do is retouch a bunch of things. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna export Adobe file, save as can I do a PNG? I can. That would be great. Oy, oy, oy. So you can do this by hand if you're practicing a lot and everything, but a lot of the tools right now have features that, there we go, will help you do some things. Like they'll help you do a lot of the like background work that is a little more challenging, or things that like professional photographers have practiced really hard at. So you know, you always practice to get things done and everything, and this should not replace photographers or anything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying these are tools that can get you certain places a little quicker without having to learn all those photo editings. It's not quite, that's what I wanted, quite the same, but I know that there's a lot of like, it can get me a little closer. Again, I don't want people to think that I'm telling you how to replace photographers, because that's not how we do that. So it's a little bit of stuff. So like this is the raw photo, which is a little messy. And if you do auto settings, you see it did some recoloring and retouching. This is kind of hard to see just because I was scanning. This is meant for flat documents. It's not ideal. So it's not perfect. Black and white, that's what I want. There we go. So it already kind of had some weird colors to begin with, so that kind of fixed some of those. So this is a little rambly while I'm trying to figure things out here. There used to be, I usually use this on my phone, so do we have like, I'm just going to see if I can get the photo a little further along than what I'm looking for, like filters and stuff, which I can't really. I'm going to give this like 2 more minutes and then presets. Okay. So there's presets in Lightroom. This is what I was looking for. Like I said, I usually use it on my phone, so I couldn't really find it. But what the presets are done are, these are kinds of things, kind of what you would do, like filters or templates or things that you would use in, say, Adobe Express or anything else. And these are, or even just like if you're doing Reels on Instagram, they are going to have like all these presets. So if I was a photographer and I had like, I have a standard way of doing things. So actually a better example for those of you who've been watching the tarot content, I have a set of things. So like I have a set line weight for everything. There's always the hierarchy line. There's always the lines on top of those that outline it. And there's a set of paper patterns that I use each time as well. So this is like saving those settings other photographers have done for us. So you can apply those settings, and it's doing all these things, your highlights, your contrasts, your ups and downs, your clarity, all these different things that you can kind of practice with and work on, but it's applying those settings for you right away. And it's a good way to kind of play around with this, because I also find with photo editing, because it's not my forte, I find I'll get to a point and be like, oh, that looks great, but I've muddied the water so much that it's really hard to kind of tell where I started and where I finished and how it's going to end up and all that kind of stuff. So this is another great way to kind of get you where you want to go. I'm not really loving this for this though, because I like it. This is what I was saying about the bracelet. See how the bracelet's so bright? It's messing with the highlights. I mean, these little dust guys and stuff. So I take back my Lightroom idea. I don't think it's going to work for this image. But this is a great kind of photo editing tool to get you started, and get you, like, using these presets can get you most of the way, and then you can play around with your own settings. Like, I want more clarity here. I want less vignette. So all that kind of stuff is things you can play with. So Lightroom is actually a really good one, and one we can play with another time. But I think we're going to go back to Photoshop now, because I'm going to get a little bit unsure. I'm just curious as to what the remove background is going to do for me, because there's not really. So like what I was going to try and use Lightroom for is get it to a certain stage of cleaning up the photo and then bringing it over here. But I think I've already done enough cleanup for it. Excuse me, leave the floor alone, please. While it's doing that, just give me a sec. Bro? I know what you ain't wrong. You won't pay for this carpet, you goose. Look, we're doing a painting about you. Whoop! I almost dropped Mojo. Oh dear, now I broke Photoshop by trying to remove the background. I was just curious as to what it considered background. Here's Mojo. Hi. Thank you. Everybody says happy birthday to you. Okay, I'll give this one more sec. I'm just going to cancel that. So removing the background, that generally will do remove the background. So if you were had like a person and you didn't want any of the background, it'll take it out for you. So it's because that's usually a pretty common edit. So Photoshop has put that into their generative AI tools, which aren't playing our game today. So we'll stop using them for now. So a couple little repairs here. Holy cow, that's a pretty aggressive scan. Okay, got my fingerprints in here. Hopefully I don't do a crime or anything. Let's use my fingerprints. Like, I'm okay with my hands being a little blurry here. Just reducing the brush there. That's just the square brackets. The left one is a reduce. The right one is an increase. And I'm okay with like I said, my hands being kind of blurry here because I'm not the focal point. It's also really hard to get a really clean scan of my hands. Okay, bro. Space. Over. Thank you. Downside to working with large files is that. Come on. What are we doing? I would like to use the clone tool, please. Oi, oi, oi. Option. It was hard to get a nice scan of my hands. That was like a really big challenge. But there's lots of things you can do, like little healing, and like this is probably a way more manual than it needs to be. And if you ever need to know the shortcut for something, you can just hover over it. So this is a clone stamp tool, so that's why it's an S. So if I just hit the S shortcut, we have that guy. Why are we not going? There we go. Okay, Moj, do you want? Okay, do not jump. You're going to hurt your legs. Thank you. Okay. Option. No, I would like the stamp. Why are you being this way? There we go. Why are the computers being like this? Like there's lots of like smudge tools and repair tools that you can do here. But I'm super down to just kind of clear out a few of these dust piles. I don't have to be too accurate with this part because Mojo's fuzzies came out really nice and clear. So once, it's hard to describe with the clone tool. Like once you option click, it's going to keep painting kind of the space that you took the photo of until you take another selection. It's kind of a really weird thing to describe. You know, freaking me out is kind of that this looks like a face, which it's not. So we're going to try and get rid of that because there's no way that's going in my bedroom, sleeping over top of me. Dude, stay on the clone tool. Why are you being this way? Why is Photoshop being this way? Okay, let's save that. It's getting a little leggy. Okay. We want a new thing. There we go. Come on, do the thing. Okay, guys, a lot of paint. So I'm gonna do 'Cause I don't really know what that is. 'Cause this is like, it's kind of like Mojo's belly here, but it kind of looks like my face is in the middle. So we're definitely gonna have to take care of that. So let's take a darker gray. Let's see, and then can we just let's just do a new layer and we'll multiply it. Just in case I don't like this. I'm going to change it to soft round one. I don't want that dark. Okay, so I want a really light one. Sorry. Just multiply. First we're going to, can I clear this layer? Can't clear the layer. Wow, shortcuts are not playing the game today. No, I want the erase tool, please. Why won't... Seriously. Erase. Something weird's happening here, boys. All I want is to erase this. Good Lord. Okay. I don't know that I love that, so we're going to just delete this layer for now and add, yes please, add in instead of being a multiply, we're just going to take some of this out. Oh my goodness. Something's being really weird in here. Seriously, guys. It's not holding any of my stuff. It's super weird. I hope you guys are all still there. That my stream is still working. Okay. Okay. Because I'm also going to want to do something like, maybe not darker though. Let's do another layer. And we'll do, I'm going to white. Do I have white? The best part about it being it's on its own layer is I can I didn't want you to duplicate the layer. I just want you to go above that one. Sheesh. My goodness gracious. The advantage here is now, like in fresco, on its own layer, I can pull it back as far as I want. And then also just get rid of it if you want to, because I kind of want to. Look at his little piece. Okay, so now that we have another, we've played around a little bit. Oh, because I can't see levels on that one. Sorry. You have to have a photo selected or an image with lots of things on it for the levels to work. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two layers. That mask is getting in my way. That mask was created when we did the generate to get rid of the dust and stuff. And I didn't merge it down, so it was just kind of staying on its own. It wasn't like playing the game very nicely. This is where I can get really lost in things. Come on. Or I break Photoshop. I'll like adjust these layers and adjust these layers and adjust these layers until I think it looks good, and I see the original. I'm like, oh, it doesn't look good anymore. And if you're in the levels layer and you're playing around kind of like I am right now, you don't have to like cancel out or remember the numbers you did or anything. You can turn the preview off, this check mark, and that's going to be what you have if you canceled, and this will be what you have when you select. There's not a huge difference here. I like how some of the low lights are working. What happens if we do this? Adjustments. Oh, just I. Invert. Spooky. We don't want to do that. I'm just kind of wondering. I just want to erase. That's what I want to do. No, we don't feel like erasing. Seriously, bro? Oh, it's not all the way up there. Huh, my bad. Yikes. Okay. Hey Mojo, do you want to leave those neighbors alone? So definitely something to play with here. Like this is going to take me... That's why photo editing is always kind of gets in my... on the back burner because it takes a long time. Don't hate the dissolve. So something like it's a little darker than I wanted. Like I wanted something kind of lighter. I don't really like that. So something to play with. Thank you. Brush, please. Bro, I want the brush tool. My computer is rebelling. No, thank you, computer. I also I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't know. I like it. What if I did? What if I did duplication and made it multiplied, but like, hope everybody is still there. Oh, don't do that. Come to mine. Go to my channel. Oh. Mafu says, loving the posterized effect the photo gives so far. And Mafu's still here. Excellent. Oh, I'm so glad that this is coming through. Because I do find like I could sit and draw, like I probably do it with illustrations and stuff too. But like get into the details and get into the details and get into the details. And lose some of the focus. But because like Photoshop and stuff isn't my super strength, I don't really know what I'm doing. So that's, I just throw myself off the deep end. Details, more values. Yeah, in this case, yes. So Mafu says detail. Yeah, so because I'm working black and white, which I think, for my brain at least, is making things a little bit easier. If I was worrying about colors and stuff too, oof, be a little messy. Because like there's a lot going on, and especially with the colors that we started with. So let's go back to what we started with. Can we put all of these in a, I just want to put them in a group. In the group. Play 'em game. Come on. No, go in the right layer, you dummy. Sorry, I've asked a lot. I'm asking a lot of my computer right now. Because why would I do this in a small way? There we go. This will be easier for me to show things. Don't worry about making it perfect. Take your time with everything you're trying to do. Yes, don't rush it. Enjoy the process. Artists are able to focus easier with values alone. And then the other colors. Yes, okay, so there is definitely, sorry, I'm gonna lose my mind. Put it in the group, please. There's a certain way, like you can work with like channels. I do not use channels. I don't know how to use them very well, but like, there's ways you can move them with color and stuff, which we can do in a second. So let's first take a look. If I close this group, we turn our color back on. So this is where we're at, and this is what we started with. So I think we were doing, I think we've come to a really great spot. Because if we were still working with colors, see how like, because this was a scan and not photos, like it's pulled like all those reds of that contact point of my hand and everything. Like it's really made my hands look like they're actually hurt, but they don't. Working with colors is a challenge here. One thing I can show you guys though, Now, I don't use this very often. So if I turn, I'm not going to be able to educate you on this and everybody. We have, these are the different kind of like levels, and people, you can paint these and work with these and different ways to do things, to have like you can do what Mafu said and like color and paint with value first and adjust those values, but that's out of my color understanding, so I wouldn't be able to teach you on those ones. The shadows look lost with Mojo's pause. I don't really understand the before, but now I'm able to pick up a lot better with the after. Okay, so that's a good call. So let's do that. Yeah, so maybe the shadows under my hands should be a little darker then. So if I were to do something like this and pull this down just a touch, maybe we do something like this. Prokos has some videos talking about values and colors. Yes, values and colors can take a long time, but there is, and I do this with my physical paint, not my, oops. Let's not do that. Let's not paint right on the photo, shall we? It's harder to erase. So with my actual paintings, like with an acrylic, this would be very challenging with a watercolor, but with an acrylic, I will regularly put like my values in just a color. It doesn't have to be black or white. But when we were doing art at school, we would sometimes do a full painting in black and white and then put like thin layers of color over top. I think that's too aggressive. So what we're gonna do, lasso, please. There we go. So then you get those values first, and then you are ensuring that you get your lights and your lights and your darks and your darks. Just to help you teach about that kind of stuff, because when you're working with color, you're also thinking about color mixing and the values and all the kind of stuff that goes into thinking about color and contrast and opposites and all that kind of fun madness. So when you're thinking of just values, it's easier to kind of wrap your head around, and then you can add colors. Lighter values for the thick layers or the colors. So we painted it black and white. We would do black and white, so like white, the lightest stuff would be the lightest, and then the darkest would be the darkest. And then we put things over top. So generally, like maybe like a yellow with a highlight, that would be your lightest, whereas like a purple and a shadow would be your darkest. Mafu says, the concept of color in art alone is an overload for my head, but I think I can get the values concept much better in general. It's a really good place to start because there's a lot of... it's just a lot. Color mixing is a lot. There's a lot of things with color theory. There's a lot of things with how to mix, especially if you've got complicated things like different skin tones and the light interacting with that. It's a lot to keep track of, for sure. So definitely a good place to start with values, and then moving into colors afterwards is a great idea, because it gives you that kind of concept and that range. So something for you, Mafu, when you're thinking of values, one thing an art teacher told me once that I use regularly, because I would do my paintings and I look back at them now and I understand what she was saying. They're all very light. Like I would use a very small range of values, but generally on the lighter side, more from being like afraid of ruining a piece. But one of my teachers, when I was at Sheridan, she had me put like the black down first. Put something like what you for sure is going to be your darkest value on your piece. I would put that down, and then I would put your lightest light. So that way you're able to kind of fill in the middle, where I thought initially when I was putting on light things, I would slowly go darker and darker and darker. And then I thought, that's as dark as I can go. I can't do this. All that kind of stuff. And so it'd be a big challenge, and I'd be worried about ruining the piece. Whereas now when I would throw the black on first, then you know you have so much more to go. You know you're leaning too light, you're leaning too dark. How many values did you use back then versus now? So I saw your story and I didn't really know how to reply. I don't really have a rule of number of values, but I do think that if I looked at my pieces and I used only like 4 grays maybe, if I can talk like in like marker color terms, I was probably only using maybe a 10% to maybe a 50% gray. Where now if I'm throwing down an 80 or a 90 as well as a 10, and this is like, if you use markers, you'll understand. I'm not trying to be obscure here. Then like you're throwing down almost a black, like almost a black and then almost a white, and then you can fill in those ranges a little bit better. So it's like, sorry, I just want to clear this layer. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So if you're putting down the black, so here, that's why I wanted to put some darks down and have the lights. That's what your like levels will do for you. You'll make sure you have your lights and your darks in a good range in the middle. But there's a lot of different things that I couldn't tell you how many values I used to be sure. Yeah, so yeah, if you use like in the marker terms, if you threw down a 10% gray and threw down like a 90% gray, you're going to know how to fill in the middle a little bit better. Whereas I thought I would start kind of light and slowly add dark, slowly add dark, slowly add dark, and at some point just stop because I thought I was done. But I would only have a very light piece in the end. So I've never heard of a specific you can only use X number of values rule. I've never heard that before. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I think that we eraser tool, please. Goodness me. So I wouldn't stick to that kind of rule just yet, Mafu. I'd go with what you're comfortable with and what kind of you feel you want to do first. But I think if you kind of start lightest and dark to darkest, then I think you'll have a better range to kind of work with, and you'll see what you're kind of using rather than limiting yourself too early. If you're using something like markers, or if you're using something like an art supply of sorts, like meaning you were you could control it, like if you had like 3 markers or something like that, then you can just select 3, or limit your brushes or something in Photoshop. Alessandra's going to head out, have to work on some stuff and focus on these bookmarks. And yes, exciting news. I mentioned it last week. Alessandra's going to be streaming with me next week, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to do sometimes. All right, Antoine's also out, so that means I should probably... I've run over time is what I've done here. Oh my goodness, Photoshop. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate you. I hope you have an excellent evening. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I hope that answered your question a little bit, Mafu. It's a little bit kind of muddy in the answers, but I don't think you should necessarily limit yourself, but I think put in like a really light and a really dark, kind of like we've done here. I want the paws to be nice and bright, and then the edges to be dark, and then you can fill in the back. So, and I think it just kind of depends on everybody's style. Like when you look at the tarot cards, I'm using black and white quite a bit, and I'm using black because it's a night circus, and then there's the lights of the different things. So that kind of range value is happening kind of almost by accident. Whereas in something like this, I have to be a little more conscious of the light and the dark. And if I'm starting from scratch, you have to be a little bit. So I don't mind providing feedback if you see something and you're like, what do you see for your values? Because that's always great to have that outside feedback of like, what does this look like? Why is that doing that? Outside feedback of like, what do you see versus, especially like on this page that I've been looking at for days and days and days, what do you see? So I think that that's a good call, but really just it becomes practice. I don't know of a solid rule. Like I said, if you wanted to if you had like your pencil crayons or something and you wanted to pick 3 grays or ranges of blues or something like that to limit yourself, but I don't see why you would have to do that. I hope that helps in its vagueness. It's a live stream of things I don't really know a lot about, but I'm trying. Yes. If you have a piece, I don't mind giving some feedback and letting you know what I see. Everybody's going to see something different, but I'll let you know what I see. Okie dokie. So this, especially with something like this, because this is not my forte. RB's here just at the end of the stream. So just because I talk about this a lot when I do my my tarot cards and everything like that. I'm always saying, take a step back in a piece, go walk away for a few minutes, and then come back and see how you like it later. Because I'm not very strong in photo editing or anything like that, I definitely want to walk away right now and just kind of see what kind of details and things and all that kind of stuff. Oh, RB, you know what happened? Daylight savings time happened. Oh no, I wondered if this was going to hit and I didn't think about it again till now. Yeah, we went forward an hour. So right now it's 8:15 p.m. here. So I started at 7 at my normal time, but we had daylight savings time this past Sunday, on the weekend. Sorry guys, we jumped forward an hour. I thought about it while I was getting ready this morning. I was like, I should put something up to be like, hey, we've got daylight savings time. Don't miss the stream. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So yes, this is something we're gonna save. So this is something new. RB, I promised something different from tarot, so I'm doing a little photo work that I haven't done in a very long time. So I'm relearning Photoshop and all that kind of fun madness. Yeah, so go check it out on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. And yeah, we will see what I come up with next week. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so this one, like I said, I got distracted, sorry. I'm going to definitely walk away from this and come back and see how clear things are. So RB, for you, you can see we started with this. Yikes. And now we're with this. And I think I'm going to just wander away now and see what I think. And then we'll come back and we'll do some details and all that kind of fun stuff. But I think for right now, I think we're going to be taking a time out. So I'm sorry you missed the stream, RB. I forgot to let everybody know about the daylight savings time. We'll turn to summertime at the end of the month. Yeah, so I guess we'll catch up soon. So keep an eye on the streams then for the next couple weeks. If you guys are changing at the end of the month, then we're going to have to, we'll get all caught up together at some point soon. Anyway, I think I'm going to head out. I hope you're all having a really good and safe time where you are. Thanks for tuning in for this, and I will be back same time and channel, but with Miss Alessandra next week. So we are going to do our Creative Jam stream together next week, so we'll have something even more different next week. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye.